Hello, everybody. Today we will cover the last tutorial, week 11 tutorial for both unit COIT 12206 and COIT 20261. We will use a software approach called Ansible to be able to manage devices, as we mentioned in the lecture. So how we do that? Let's go and create a new project. Call it whatever. And from here, I'm gonna grab one of those devices, a switch, and for Linux devices. Put them in the order you like. Now link them together. I'm gonna use the network 192.168.10.0/24, and I will use here that 100, and that's the, you can consider that as the management device. And here I'm gonna use the 10, the 20, the 30, and that 40. And since we do not have a gateway, I believe that the configuration will be easy for everybody. So configure those ones very quick. That's 10.10. That's that 10.100. That's the Ansible one, the host one. I'm gonna put it as 100. No need for the gateway. Here I'm gonna put it as 10.10. Then the 20, then the 30, and here is 10.40. That's it. That's it. So let's go here and see that if our configuration is working or not. Create the project, add Linux devices, static, and then configure the SSH. Now we cover those ones. Let's see what's that configure the SSH. Before we do anything, usually what I ask my students to make sure that if you can ping all the devices correctly, that's working, 20 is working, 30 is working, and 40 is working. So our configuration is correct and no problem with that. Now, so step number 3, assign static IP to all hosts. Configure the SSH on all the hosts. What's that configure SSH? I want to communicate using the SSH. We have done that in one of the labs. So what I'm gonna type that command in all of them. The start SSH Here it is. It create the SHA here as well. And the last one for sure, here it is. So I have the 5 hosts. All of them I have run the command started SSH. So everything has here ready to work for SSH. I need to log in to make sure that everything is working fine. However, as you can see that we are here as the bash, we want to go to the root, or we have create you a student user which has a super or super user permissions like root. So what we do, we will go, let me just clear this one so you can, something like that. And as you can see that here, you can see that we move from the hash to the roots. Here, maybe that's if I gone too fast or something. Here, guys. So now we are here under the root, and that's the command we do. Before we go anywhere, we want to make sure that we can communicate using SSH from the host securely, from that host to manage all those other hosts. So how we do that, just only try 192.168.10. See if you can reach that device number 2 or host 2 securely. Can you use fingerprint? Yes, here it is. Now let's clear that. Can I go to 20? Yes, and here it is. All right. Can I go for 30? And that's host 4, as you can see at the bottom here. I'm in host 4, so it's working fine. Last one, which is number 40. Yes, I wanted that. I'm in host number 5 right now, as you can see. So what does that tell me? Yes, the SSH worked fine. Everything's okay. And I can start my real work. So that host, which is the Enzel host, the management host, can communicate with all those hosts, which is it gonna be managed through the SSH, a secure protocol. What is the issue with this lab? We're using Ansel, what we call playbook. Is that any problem with that? Spacing is the problem. Spacing, believe it or not, if you add one extra space, if you remove one less space, it's gonna be gonna give you error. If you add hyphen, if you remove hyphen, something like that. If you even type something like this, whatever you see in the screen here, if I type something like that, if I move that host a little bit here or wherever, it's gonna give you error. So you need to fix it. It works as the branch and trees. So you have to write that in certain way. Specifically, do not use tabs. Do not use tabs at all. Everything has to be done here with spacing. So if you type those files, the inventory file and the playbook file, you will not have an issue and you will communicate normally. If you have any typo, any extra space or any less space, you will have to troubleshoot. And that's going to take you longer time to find out. So let's create two files. One of them, the first one, the inventory. Inventory means the hosts which you want to manage. I will create that under the nano. I'm going to create something inventory.yaml. And please make sure that that typing is correct. So that's my hosts here. Leave a space and go over here and type hosts. Leave another space and type start list your hosts, that host two. Leave two more spaces and inside that start type 192.168, list your devices. Here again, that's host 3 here. 192.168 10.20 host 4 192.168 10.30 host 5. That's the answer. And that's host here 192.168 10.40. We have something called vars. You can you don't have to put that vars at the bottom here, in case if you didn't the what we call that, what you're gonna use the Python. So you need to give the, you don't need to, by the way, um, where we can find the Python inside the bin, where is the bin inside the user, and so on. But anyway, you can keep it, you can remove it. It's gonna give you something unreachable, but anyway, for the sake of the demo only, I'm gonna put it over here. But just remember, please, that you do not have to put it. See user, that's bin, that's Python. Please review that very carefully and make sure from the spacing and everything is no typo. For example, that's my hosts, host 2, Ansible host 1020, Ansible host 30, 40, 50, yes. Look okay. Parse, Ansible, Python. Yep, I believe that the spelling is correct. And let's save this one. And that's the first one. And that's the what you can keep that as the hosts, the one which is you will be managed. So what I do to manage, that's another file. We call that the playbook. Playbook, I'm gonna type here playbook. Create a new file called playbook. What's in the functions you want executed on those hosts? What do you want to do with those hosts? You put the functions here. What do you want to do? I want to ping. For example, the first function, ping. The second one, print a message, and so on and so on. Let's type those ones. Most of the mistakes or the troubleshooting or the error we get within that Ansible demo in that file, not in the host file. So let's make that here. Let's add space and my first play. That's the name only. Come over here and under type hosts, my hosts, and then tasks. And over here, leave something like that. I'm gonna type my ping my hosts as well. Under this one, I'm gonna type install dot built in dot ping. Here, you need to leave a line similar to that, name, print, message. That's one of the space as well. Debug. What you want, what message you want, leave another space, MSG, the message. Let's say hello world. Review that one as well. Review the spacing, please. If you have any extra space, if you have anything, you need to remove that. Unfortunately, that's how that software, it reminds me with a software called Pobble language, programming language we used to use long time ago. It works as a tree, so we have to treat it as a tree. Unfortunately, that's how it works. Now, let's review the code. Host, my host, tasks, name, ping, Ansible, built-in, ping, name, print message, Ansible, built-in, debug, message, hello world, and here it is. It seems okay. Now, what we will do, we will run the command to see that if it's work or not. That's what we will do. Ansible, and that's -I, Ansible playbook. And let me just make sure that before we go here, this is the two files you have created. Two files, you did created two files, the inventory and the playbook. So what I'm gonna do, here it is. I'm gonna use, can you go for the Ansible playbook? -I. Can you start with the inventory, and then can you go with the playbook ping? Sorry. Okay, anyway, I name it, it should be playbook ping, but anyway, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do Ansible. Playbook -A, it's inventory. I'm gonna name it playbook. I should name it as matching the screenshots, not to confuse you. But since I name it here playbook, it's okay. I'm gonna name it as playbook, no problem. Now let's hit enter. If everything is work fine, that means okay. If it didn't work fine, that means we have a typo. Let's hit and see how it goes. That sound, it's okay. So since if you see that, that means you have no error, no problem, no issues. What you see here, that's the one, the red one, that's the vars, the one I mentioned to you before. So don't worry about it. Here it is. Let me just make this one a little bit bigger so you guys can see what we have here. What it tell you here exactly? Yes, if you get the purple one, we start pinging. Can you see this one? Yep, it ping, no problem. So the first function has been executed. And print a message, the second function has been executed. And the pre-recap, as you can see that when you get the OK tree, that means everything is perfect. So this one, the unreachable 0 means negative. So unreachable, negative mean reachable. Unreachable 1, that mean positive. So which means that it's unreachable. This is the vars, so we don't care about that because that's not the device itself. As you can see that that's a demo, a very quick demo for what you can, how you manage. If you want, you create two files. One has host, one has what the function you want to execute. So two functions being executed, pinging, yes, ping, and everything is cool. And can you give me print a message? Here is the message, print out. And here it is as we put it within the function. So we tried over here just only to show you that we can reach the device and we can print some message, whatever. What about if I want to grab some data from the devices, from those devices, grab data. So those devices has whatever the data it is, let's say configuration data. And we want to fetch it out, to grab it from here, from those devices to here. All right, so what we will do, we will create another YAML playbook, another playbook, and we will call that playbook fetch. And we will put some conditions over here to do what? Look at this. Can you fetch the ETC network interfaces? I believe if any, most of you remember that that's the configuration file for the IP. That's the file, the GUI version and the CLI version, the interfaces, which you have all those DHCPs, you have all the static, the enable, and the one we usually do. You have done that in week 2, 3, and 4. So can you get me all the configuration for all those devices to my admin? Can I see what's the configuration over there, whatever it is? Can you copy those files? Let's say copy, but anyway, we could fetch. And you bring it to my device, which is the management device. That's what that small, tiny command will do. Let's create one of those and let's name it play fetch.yaml. And we will type here space name. What's the name exactly? Just give it any name you like. Can you fetch the interfaces or interface files? Under this one, I'm gonna put the hosts. That's my hosts. Over here, I'm gonna put the tasks. And under the A, over here, as you can see, I'm gonna put that in a space. Can you put the name? That's fetch. Here it is, fetch and space, and then ATC network. And after that, you're familiar with that one, the interfaces. So can you fetch that directory, the ETC, the network interfaces, to my device? So over here, yes, Ansible dot built-in dot fetch. Similar to that, leave another space, put the CRC. Believe it or not, one space it didn't work, two spaces it works. So interfaces, and then over here, the destination Where do you want to put that? Where, when you grab the data from the etc in network interfaces, where do you want to put it on? Can you put it onto home, student, a new folder? We will create that. As I show you, we haven't any folder in except two files we created before. Can you create a new directory called host config? And let's see, and you put the data for those devices inside that directory. Let's do that and see if it's gonna work or not. The only thing that just please review carefully the typo, the spacing, as I mentioned to you before. That's name, fetch interface file, hosts, my hosts, tasks, name, fetch, etc network interfaces, Ansible built in, fetch, yep. Here, please make sure that this one is in. The column, the Ansible, the built-in fetch, source, etc network interfaces, destination, home, student, and host config. See, it's good when you actually review things. So now let's save that one, then execute it. Usually the same thing as we have done before. Let me just take you down there here. That's Ansible. Play that's -a, the inventory, and this time I'm gonna do the fetch. And let's see if we get error, we troubleshoot. If it works, then mean all our work is correct. Let's hit here. It sound working fine. As far as like you get those two lines, it means okay. Here it is, working fine. So host 2, host 3, host 4, host 5. And can you see this one? Changes, has changes. Okay, so everything has been executed. Yes. Where are those ones? Watch this one, please. That's a new directory called host config, has been shown over there. What's inside that? If you can, here it is. That's a new directory has been allocated. What's inside that? Oh, that's 4 subdirectories for each device. So host 2, 3, 4, and 5. What's inside? Okay, let's take one of them. I'm gonna take host 2. What's inside the host 2? I have etc. Oh, so you actually copy the whole directory. Yes. So here it is. What's inside etc? Network. What's inside the network? Now that's a file, not a directory. So let's get the interfaces and see what's inside. Here it is. What happened here? Grab all, I think you're familiar with that. So it grabbed everything here and it give you, this is the sample, whatever, and you are familiar with that. This is the configuration I have done. I had removed that and over here and left the gateway and the DHCP on. That's it. That's it. Easy as that. No hassle, no headache. It give you a basic demo about automation. How you can run script to execute functions from a remote device onto managed devices. I hope that would help you with your tutorial and as well your final assignment. If you have any issue, if you're stuck anywhere, feel free to email me. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you and have a good one.